All right, we're back. Just going to use the potato camera and the potato microphone for this first um, post game live instant reaction of the 2021-2022 season because I watched at my dad's house, so I don't have my setup here. But I wanted to make it be an actual instant reaction since it is the first game of the season and it was a really entertaining one. Double overtime. Unfortunately, the Celtics dropped the game to the Knicks. Final score, in case you weren't watching, 134, 138. Again, New York comes out on top. And it was a really entertaining game, but when you spend so much effort like the Celtics did coming back and make it really exciting, you hit a last second shot in regulation. Marcus Smart hit a clutch 3-pointer to send it in overtime. That's when you really got to seize the opportunity and win the game. And, it's too early to talk about momentum because it's just the first game of the season, but that would have been a great way to start the season where in the Knicks building, you come back and you shock them and you beat them in overtime. And the Celtics really had their chances to do that in this game. Where it got away from them was the third quarter, as usual. New coach, new players, same result. They played very flat in the third quarter. The Knicks came out with a lot of energy and were able to seize the lead. And then the Celtics had to really scrap and claw to get back in the game. And then a great couple of defensive plays in the end of the fourth quarter, combined with a clutch 3-point shot from Marcus Smart to send it into overtime. Some clutch 3-pointers by Grant Williams, of all people, send it in overtime. And then you play really well in the first overtime. You play okay in the second, but you end up losing because, one, you ran out of gas, and two, you were playing too much hero ball, too much isolation ball with Jason Tatum, who was awful, god awful in this game. And couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And the Celtics lose because they were too tired and they didn't have any real strategy in the overtime. And when you don't have any strategy in a game, it's hard to win. And, I think Ime Udoka's inexperience as a head coach showed a little bit tonight. Way too early to say if he's going to be good or bad. But I think he could have used his timeouts a little better, especially in the overtimes. He let Jason Tatum, who was off all night, do an isolation play at the end of the first overtime to win it. When they had a timeout, they could set something up, at the very least, giving the team a little bit of a breather because they were really tired at that point. But he chose not to, and then he didn't use any in the second overtime period, and the team was just launching threes and gassed. Celtics also in the second overtime period missed a dunk and a layup, and you lose by 4, and that's 4 points right there. So disappointing, obviously, not the way you want to start a season. Listen, it's not getting blown out, but you don't want to be in dogfights with the Knicks. I know they made the playoffs and they had a better record than you last year, but you have 2 star players. They have really one. You should be better than them, and you just look like you're at the same level as them, which is a little disheartening and disappointing, especially if you're looking at what the real ceiling of this Celtics team is. Obviously, got to talk about the phenomenal game from Jaylen Brown, who sets a franchise record for most points on opening night. He had probably the best game of his career. Certainly, he set a record for himself, personal best, 46 points. He finishes with 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and a block to go with those 46 points. Very efficient shooting, too, 16 of 30 from the floor, 8 of 14 from 3, including a huge 3 from the logo. He was just phenomenal tonight. Hard to believe that he just had COVID and is recovering from that because he looked every bit the All-Stars last year. He looked like a All-Star starter in this game tonight. He just continues to improve every season, and this season shouldn't be any different. We mentioned Jason Tatum. He was really bad tonight. 45 minutes for Tatum, 7 of 30 from the floor, 2 of 15 putrid from three-point line, 4 of 5 from the free throw line. Only took 5 free throws. Not good. 20 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, a block, a steal. Again, the shooting was just so bad. And what was really disappointing isn't so much the bad shooting, because that happens and I'm not worried about that, but he made it a point this offseason to get more strength and to go to the free throw line more. And when you're having an off shooting night, you got to get to the line. Only 5 attempts, not going to do it. When you're having a bad shooting night, you need to stop shooting threes and put your head down and drive to the basket. He didn't do that at all. So that was a little discouraging to see from Jason Tatum, but I wouldn't be worried so much about the shooting. That'll sometimes you just aren't shooting the ball well. Robert Williams, I thought, played a really good game tonight. 5 of 5 from the floor, 10 rebounds for him, 3 assists, 3 steals, 5 blocks, 16 points. Can't ask for much more than that. I thought he was great on both ends of the court. Marcus Smart was up and down as his tenure as the starting point guard for the team begins. 46 minutes for him, 5 of 14 from the floor, not great there. 5 of 11 from three, not great. So 11 of his 14 shots were threes. That's not what you want from Marcus Smart. 15 points from him, 6 assists, 8 rebounds, pretty solid defense. The other starter tonight was Grant Williams, who I rag on all the time, but was actually pretty good tonight. More so on the offensive side than the defensive. 15 points for him, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, steal, and a block. But the best number for him was 3 of 5 from three, including a couple big ones in the fourth quarter. So he was not a detriment tonight, but he did get bullied by Julius Randle. Bench was pretty good tonight. Romeo Langford looked solid off the bench, 4 of 6, 10 points for him, 23 minutes. Schroeder, not efficient, but did put up 12 points, so 22 points from the bench tonight. You saw Aaron Nesmith play 11 minutes, didn't play very well. 0 of 4 from the floor, 0 of 3 from three, no points. Pritchard, not a good game for him, 11 minutes, 0 of 3 from the floor, 0 of 2 from three. Schroeder, 5 of 16 from the floor, 1 of 4 from three, 8 assists, okay defense. Not a great game from him either in his Celtics debut. 12 points for Schroeder. And overall, really, I think you lost this game because your transition defense wasn't great. You ran out of gas at the end. Udoka didn't use timeouts particularly well, and the Celtics had to come back from too far down because they could have won it in regulation had they not had to make a spirited comeback at the end. If they didn't let things get away from them too badly again. The Knicks in the third quarter, go watch that. They were just running ragged over the Celtics in transition and got a lot of easy baskets. Obi Toppin, who isn't a great player, was looking dominant at points in that game, and that should not happen. Leonard, always great to see you here in the chat. You're asking, do I think they win in regulation with Horford and Richardson? Richardson was out tonight with migraines, Horford out with COVID. Yeah, probably. Though, it's impossible to really say that definitively because I think Grant Williams played about as well tonight as you could have expected out of Horford. Maybe Horford plays a little bit better defense, but the scoring certainly was unexpected from Williams, and I don't think you can expect Horford to do better offensively than what Grant did tonight. As far as Richardson, maybe he gets the minutes and Nesmith played, and Nesmith didn't play well, and so since you lost close, maybe he scores 6, and that would be the difference in games. So maybe, but it's, again, my biggest takeaway from this is that, again, it's too early to make any sort of big declarations, but it does seem like the Celtics and Knicks are at a very similar level. And if you have high expectations for the Celtics this year, that should be disappointing because you got 2 young stars and you want to be competitive in the East. And competitive in the East means trying to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I don't think either of these teams have the juice to get there right now. I think, and I'll probably talk about this a lot this season, I think the Celtics need to acquire somebody who brings life to this franchise. I know they got some pieces in the offseason, shuffled the decks a little bit, but nobody that's going to be a massive difference maker. And I do feel like the team needs some enthusiasm and excitement and a shot in the arm around them to really get them going. So back at it on Friday against Toronto, another divisional opponent. You don't want a losing streak to start the season. So the Raptors are bad. You should beat them. We'll see what the Celtics look like tonight, but again, they lose. Sorry, on Friday they do lose tonight in the opener. Bummer in double overtime, but you move on 0-1 and try to pick up your first win on Friday. So I'll talk to everybody then. Thanks for watching, and welcome to the 2021-2022 NBA season. Celtics live post games, 75th anniversary of the NBA. Should be a fun one. All right, see you everybody.